what exactly happens when your kids go to schools and colleges. Yeah, he's quite a badass. He is very unapologetic. He has no scruples. It's a theatrical promo which kind of teases you. We didn't want to show more than we should have. See the system first of all. The system is down in the dumps. All they're getting is being pitted as losers because that's what the system does. No, it's not. There are too many other variables at play. There's IQ, there's EQ, there's your emotional quotient. Those things are not taken into consideration. Age is not anything to go by. Learning ability is something to go by. Hi, this is Emraan Hashmi.
Hi, I'm Shreya Dhanwanthary.
And you're watching Bollywood Hungama.
मुझे हीरो बनने की बिल्कुल इच्छा नहीं है, विलेन बनने का बिल्कुल टाइम नहीं है, खिलाड़ी हूँ, खेल रहा हूँ, नमस्ते. Well, that's what one of the catchy dialogues of Emraan Hashmi's and Shreya's Cheat India, and everyone is talking about the film. Play having you guys on Bollywood Hungama.
Thank you.
Thank you, Faridoon.
And so, how crucial is this entire idea of, as far as just defining the character that you're playing?
I mean, we have shown the point of view of the education system from the eyes of the devil. He's a guy who is in the heart of it, and he's not. There were two ways of going with this film. Either we showed him as a hero, someone who comes and saves the day, is righteous, probably a whistleblower, and probably revises the system, but that would be a lie, because the system hasn't revised since the past 100 years.
Right.
So we felt that instead of showing you that kind of very fragmented way of seeing the system from the hero's point of view, let's show it from the eyes of the devil, of what exactly happens when your kids go to schools and colleges. What is happening behind closed doors? How are those undeserving kids getting merits when they sit at home and someone else goes and gives the examination for them? Those kind of things happen in our heartland, not just in Maharashtra, everywhere around.
Yeah.
Very prevalent in UP, in length and breadth of the country. So it was an interesting take to see Rakesh's point of view on this. And yeah, he's quite a badass. He is very unapologetic. He has no scruples. Like he says, he's not a hero. He's not a villain. He does these things, and there's no way he's justifying anything. This is what I do.
We don't get to see much of you in the promo.
Yeah.
So why is that?
You should ask him. He's a producer also, huh?
We're leaving the best
For the
last.
Saving the best for the last.
He's a charmer.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
he's a charmer to the.
So there's also with her character, you will see things reveal as the promotional campaign goes on through dialogue bits, and by design, if you even see our promo, it's a short promo. The theatrical
Yes,
trailer
I felt
is
so.
a 2 minute.
2 minutes 3 seconds. Yeah.
So because it's a film that we want you to come to the hall and see things that we have to offer. It's a theatrical promo which kind of teases you. We didn't want to show more than we should have. That would be going the wrong way. The film itself is a 1 hour 58 minute film.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So it's very taut, and a lot of things that thrills in it, and that entire thing you got to discover it in the cinema hall. So we have kept it for that.
You have this dialogue that अगर मैं कुछ अमीर बच्चों से पैसे बनाए हैं और कुछ ज़रूरतमंद ब्रिलियंट स्टूडेंट्स की जेबें भरी हैं
तो कुछ गलत नहीं किया है.
गलत नहीं किया है. So it's my perception entirely as a movie goer that I felt that so you're playing this guy, as you said, the badass, and this nice element, doesn't it dilute a bit in a way? You liked him to just be badass to the core, unapologetically.
See that again. You can't really see that scene you're seeing it in an isolated way. Yeah. So you have to see the entire film to understand where the context of it. But I mean, he says that if you're pointing a finger at me and that I'm doing something wrong, that I'm taking money and getting these kids degrees, getting them jobs or whatever, see the system first of all. The system is down in the dumps. You have something that's stuck back in the 20th century. It's not future ready. Your kids go to schools and are not learning anything. All they're getting is being pitted as losers, because that's what the system does. If you can't hold a lot of information and knowledge, which is called rote mugging, without understanding it, that might be a skill, but that shouldn't be the only skill. Then you become a loser if you don't do that. So what system is that? So you're pitting winners against losers, when actually in an education system it should be all about winners. And that's fundamentally the reason why there are so many suicides in our country. There's a suicide every hour, because you make kids feel like they're losers if they can't get marks and grades, and that's why they copy, that's why they cheat. Right. There's a analysis done, there's a study done. If there was emphasis given on learning, real learning, kids wouldn't be that tormented. But when you're putting pressures of grades, marks, the surmounting loan interest rates that parents have put in on the child's education, and that they have to go ahead and get those grades, they're pushed to do that because some kids can't cope with the kind of information you're putting on their heads. They can't cope with that. But does that mean you're inept or you're unable to do it? No, it's not. There are too many other variables at play. There's IQ, there's EQ, there's your emotional quotient. Those things are not taken into consideration. That's what he says. That don't point a finger at me. See the system that you guys have made. It's corrupt. It's just dysfunctional. And correct that before telling me anything. I'm just making money. I'm getting these kids an avenue to get jobs and at least going to universities that you don't have enough seats for students. There are only a couple of thousand seats. There are lakhs of students.
Do you feel that the education system in India it needs an overhaul? Because what you said about the EQ and the IQ and a lot of other factors. So in US, for example, and even European countries, so they have the entire idea is that you decide what you want to become.
Yeah.
And we'll aid that. And idea is to give wings to
There's no
children
vocational
to
training in
students.
our schools or colleges whatsoever. I was completely confused. I ended up doing commerce when my strength was completely entirely different. Had my school tapped in on that instead of teaching me which civilization, which king did what 500 years back, which is fine to understand, right? Right now you have Google. It's even more pathetic to do those things right now because that has no real world application. So at least if someone would get clear about their vocation in schools, it would be easier. But that's not happening. And America is doing much better than us with the lowest rung of the ladder. But still, there are things that can be criticized in their education system also. Is grouping kids in assembly lines, which is according to age. Age is not anything to go by. Learning ability is something to go by. If you have two
fantastic
10-year-olds in a class, it does not mean they have the same learning abilities. One of the 10-year-olds probably cannot cope up. Does that mean he's a loser? No, he just doesn't have that cognition like the other kid has. So group him in with a kid, and there's no way of segregating kids that way. America obviously is much better than us. We are the lowest rung. So we need a revolution, not just an overhaul. We need a lot of things from the government level to things that they're contributing. The GDP is very low right now, the contribution to others. And our population can't withhold it. It's just down the line. There's so many things that needs to be struck off and started afresh. But no one's doing it.
Wow.
That's why there needs to be a film that has to be made on this. Hi, this is Emraan Hashmi.
Hi, I'm Shreya Dhanwanthary.
And you're watching Bollywood Hungama.